As the owner of a law firm, do you find yourself thinking, life's got to be better than this? Do you think to yourself, why am I not making the amount of money that I deserve to make after all the effort and work I went into becoming a lawyer? Why do I not have any time? Can't get home in time for dinner? Don't have weekends to myself? Can never take a vacation without my laptop and my cell phone? My gosh, that's a dream. Why is it that I'm not sure if I have a plan for retirement after all these years? Listen, I get it. I've worked with over 1,000 law firm owners just like you. I built a law firm myself, and I'm telling you, it is possible to achieve building a law firm that supports your lifestyle rather than undermines your lifestyle. The law firm that I built in Phoenix, I built it from 0 to 3.5 million, but most importantly, the owner of that firm was able to take a month-long vacation just after our first year in business, and we maximized profitability. See, that's the key. Time and money, right? And so the question is, how do we get there? There are 4 basic levels of law firm ownership. And I'm going to give you tips as to how to go from one level to the next so you can hopefully identify where you are and then identify where you want to be. So let's talk about the very first level. We'll call this the attorney level, right? The attorney level is where you, as the law firm owner, are doing just about everything. You're the chief cook and bottle wash. Every single thing that has to be done at your firm is likely done by you. Maybe you have a little bit of help, but primarily it's all resting on your shoulders. Does that feel familiar? Let's look at this, shall we? So we have the attorney level. And the question is, how do we go from the attorney level to the next level? This reminds me of Ron Kohler. Ron is still today an attorney who started his practice back in the 80s. And for many years, he ran his business like a professional practitioner. The thing we talked about in another video, which is which decision did you make as to be what type of law firm owner are you? Ron was very much a professional practitioner. But at some point, Ron decided that he wanted to be a business owner. And when Ron and I met, we started to set a plan in place for Ron to be able to break free. Ron wants to keep it small and keep it all. And that's okay. You don't have to grow your business to some massive number. It's not about top side number. It's about building a law firm that supports your desired lifestyle rather than completely undermines it. The first thing that we did with Ron was we started by making sure he raised his prices. That was the primary goal. The second thing is we helped him find an executive assistant. Once we helped Ron understand that he had to get somebody to help him manage all of the minutia that wasn't legal work, and he raised his prices, Ron started to earn more money and gain more freedom. Now Ron has the decision, does he want to keep going and grow his firm to the next level, or does he kind of want to stay where he is and maximize that level? There's no wrong choice. But if you want to go to the next level, this is what we call the manager level, also known as law firm ownership hell. This is where a law firm is generating $800 to $1.2, maybe $2 million in revenue, and they feel like everything is still on their shoulder. They have multiple direct reports, all the legal work, all the lead flow, all the initial consultations, everything flows through the owner, and everybody else is there to do what the owner tells them to do. Jamie Miller came to me over a decade ago. Back then, Jamie was stuck in this manager role. He had to work every single Saturday, many hours during the day. He stopped trusting his team. He thought the only way out was to continue to spend more advertising dollars to grow his firm, but it never kept working. He just created more work for himself. You need to figure out how to get out of this level quickly, because whilst you're here, you're going to be in hell. So if you want to escape this level 2 manager hell, your path out is profit. If you don't have enough profit in your firm, then you can't afford to hire people to replace you in the jobs that you're doing. How do you gain more profit? Raise your prices. Make sure your fees are at the right amount. Then start to systemize your lead conversion system system. You didn't need to spend more money on marketing or advertising. You just needed to convert the leads you had better. This is going to start to generate more clients at a much more profitable level, which will then allow you to subsequently hire your replacement so that they can do the work. If you're not quite sure what level you're at right now, you can go ahead and visit lawfirmanalysis.com. And then we're going to allow you to take this free assessment. And at the end, it's going to spit you out a result. And you're going to be able to identify where you are right now. And most importantly, where you want to be and how to get there. Today, Jamie doesn't work Saturdays anymore. As a matter of fact, last year, he took his very first month-long vacation, and he was able to now have somebody else run the business because he's ascended to the third level of law firm ownership. That's the CEO level. The level where you can run your law firm from the mountains or from the beach. Most lawyers tell me they don't actually think about selling their firm because there's not a lot of places currently for them to sell their firm. They think about retirement in terms of having somebody else run their firm while they're in the mountains or the beach. In order to get there, we have to get through that hell level, which means we have to get to about just somewhere north of $2.5 million in sales. It's practice area dependent, but 2.5, probably $3 million. This is where we can start to see the CEO level come alive, because you should have approximately $1 million at that point in owner's benefit, making a lot more money than you spend. And when you're making a lot more money than you spend, you can really ramp up the systems and you can start to pay attention to all the pipelines. In some past videos, we talked about the 4 pipelines you absolutely have to pay attention to. Was the new client attraction pipeline, it was the workflow pipeline, it's the profit pipeline, and it's the talent pipeline. And as the CEO at that 2.5 to 3 million or above, you've definitely figured out how to generate clients. If you're pricing correctly, we should be wildly profitable. And now it's about getting the talent to fill in the gaps to manage the workflow and keep your clients satisfied and allow you to become a better leader. Now, this might be enough for you. I can tell you that George and Danielle McCraney. So George McCraney out of rural Georgia, criminal attorney who's now added immigration and PI to their practice area. They were generating sub $1 million in revenue when I first met them. Danielle used to take their baby to the office and work from the office while George traveled hundreds of miles every single day going from court to court as a criminal attorney. George thought to himself, I'm always going to have to do this. This is what attorneys do. They go to court, they go to court, they go to court. And then he realized he could start to ascend to the business owner. He was a professional practice owner at one point, and then he transitioned over to the business owners. Because they paid attention to the new client attraction pipeline, the profit pipeline, figured out how to get the work done and attract talent even to the small rural areas of Georgia, George and Danielle run their firm from their very comfortable ranch nowhere near their office. George probably considers himself retired. Danielle considers George retired. He spends the majority of his time managing the family assets, making goodwill happen at the firm by showing up and making everybody feel good about what they do and helping raise their daughter. Now, this is important because they've chosen to build a firm that runs from anywhere. Danielle has chosen to be the CEO, and they've started to master these 4 levels. Now, the question is, will they want to go to the next level of law firm ownership? We call this the investor level, the level where you're not the CEO, you're not the attorney, you're not the salesperson, you're not doing anything actually working in the business. So you're the chairperson of the board, right? And so what happens is that you guide the CEO and you let the CEO make these decisions. Instead of having a top-down mentality, you have a bottom-up mentality. Around here, we call that flow. Bert Diener is an immigration attorney a decade plus ago. When he first came into our world, Bert had multiple different offices. He was doing multiple seven figures, and by many people's thoughts, he was successful. The challenge is he didn't have enough profit to even afford a plane ticket. And so the first thing that we had to help Bert do was become profitable. And as soon as he saw all the other frameworks and systems for the other four primary pipelines, he started doubling down on building these systems. And he did just that. Today, Bert Diener is going to do multiple tens of millions of dollars with a very healthy profit margin, and he has the rest of his team run his firm. He's officially arrived at the investor level of law firm ownership. Or if you're going to retire from working in your business or on your business, and you're just going to be an advisor to the people who run your business, you have to have something else that takes up your time. You have to have a project. When we look at the four categories, he really had to pay attention to the talent category. He had to learn how to become a much better leader. He had to figure out how to become a level 3 leader at this CEO level. Not top down, but rather bottom up, or if we can look at it, left to ownership of the firm from the perspective that his team were going to make it better. What you have to do is figure out where you are right now. Are you in the attorney level? Are you in the manager level, what we call hell? Are you at the CEO level and trying to figure out how to get to the investor level? Or do you want to maximize your profitability at the CEO level? Or do you want to go to the investor level? There's an easy way for you to figure that out. I've created an assessment tool. It will ask you a series of questions, and at the end, it will spit out for you where you currently are. And even better, it'll give you guidelines as to what you have to do to go to the next level. So I invite you to go ahead and take that right now. There's a link below. Just click on it and it'll take you to where you want to be.